What's up, everyone? Back again here for another edition of Broad Street and Beyond. I am JT, and that sight for sore eyes to my left
Who's that?
is the one and only Chase Hopper. Good to see you, my friend.
I'm like a stranger to this show of late. What's going on, man?
Well, you've always been in my heart, though, these past 2 weeks. So
have I, though?
I want you to know. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's all that matters then. Yeah, I've been missing the past 2 weeks here on this pod.
That's all right. You're a busy guy, and we're happy to have you back, back in your regular slot here on Broad Street and Beyond, sponsored by Fairview Golf Course Studios. Great golf in Central PA for over 60 years. You can book your tee time, fairview.distinctgolf.com. A beautiful day as we record this on a Thursday afternoon, so it would be a great day to go out there and hit the links, right? And
if you're good at golf, yes. If you're actually going to hit something when you go out and play golf, if you're not good at golf, you're not going to hit much of anything except for the grass. It makes some divots.
I'm not good at golf. I think I would be a good ride along, though. I think I'd be a good. I keep things light and be a good ride along companion, but I would bring nothing to the effort as far as what's on the golf course.
So you could be a caddy, huh? You'd make a good caddy.
I could be a good caddy. Maybe. I don't know. Don't ask me to look through one of those range finders and.
So here's a test for you. So if I'm 90 yards away from the green, what club am I going to use if you're going to be my caddy?
Your 9-iron.
I could use my 9-iron, but I'd probably go with my 56-degree wedge for that though.
Okay, I almost said a pitching wedge. See, that's about my extent. But from the last time I played golf, to be honest, there's so many. What did you call it? A 50 to 60-degree wedge? I didn't even know there was such a club. Okay.
Yeah, so those close distances, once you get outside the green, they got these wedges that are anywhere from I think it's for 50 degrees all the way up to somewhere up to I think 62 degrees. So depending on your distance, if you're right outside of right outside of the green and you can't putt it, with your putter, you can't get your putter out. So then you got to obviously get it on the green in some sort of way. So there I would probably use the highest one, which would be my 60-degree that I got just to get it up on the green. Because you don't need that much to get it up on the green because you're right outside the green.
So it's just a club that allows you to easily check it up onto the green. Is that what okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Then they got sand wedges and everything else. You get in the sand, you got a certain wedge for that too. So there's so many clubs these days that people have. It's insane.
I'm feeling a future episode of Broad Street and Beyond where we take a GoPro and watch you golf and just kind of watch you use all of your.
There are going to be a lot of edits on that one. We don't want to do that.
We could do a live stream where I'm just holding the camera on the cart and we're just watching you play golf.
All right. We could do that. I think we got a company golf outing here coming up in 2 weeks or something. Okay. And we're all going golfing.
Now we would just do maybe 2 holes or something. We wouldn't do a whole round. I don't think we could get people to hang in there for that long.
I wouldn't even waste the tape on two holes. I would just do it on one shot. How about that? It'd be a waste of film. Something to think about down the road. Don't forget, you can catch Broad Street and Beyond on the Seven Mountains Media sports family over at 7mmsports.com, and we're also available on the Radio Novo app. Chase, my friend, we usually close out every podcast talking Sixers, but I thought we'd start with the Sixers this week and give them some love, even though they lost Game 2 last night in the Eastern Conference semifinal. But real quick here, it's a shame that we're kind of joining this as they're down in the first series, but we can kind of maybe look back a little bit on that first round series, the coming back from 3-1 down to beat the Boston Celtics in 7. I don't know about you. That's not something that I foresaw coming, especially the way they lost Game 4 at home in that series to fall down 3-1. It was 128-96. And you just kind of thinking it was going to be like any other first round matchup with the Celtics. Right. They would come home and Boston would clinch it in 5, but that wasn't the case. Were you as surprised as I was that the Sixers came back to win that series? Well, I mean, you looked at the numbers too. Going into that Game 7, the Celtics were 32-0 in Game 7s when they're up 3-1, and then the Sixers were down
they're 0-18 or something going into the game sevens when they were trailing 3-1 in the series. So I
Is
mean, the
that what it
odds were
was?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, the odds weren't in the favor of the Sixers by any stretch of the imagination. Nobody, with the way it's been going the past couple of years when they played the Celtics in the playoffs, nobody ever would have thought that the Sixers would have came back and won that series after being down 3-1. But they played an incredible game seven, and obviously without Jason Tatum in the Celtics lineup, I mean, that certainly helped them in game number seven there. Without him being on the Celtics side, I think it probably would have been a totally different game if Tatum was in that game seven. But Sixers look good, man. I'm just glad that they were able to advance, and they had a rough game here against the Knicks to open the thing up, but played a pretty decent game last night up until that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I kind of saw like I was pretty sure they were going to lose game one against the Knicks. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a margin,
Right.
but I knew they would put forth a better effort last night, and they did. And it's a shame because I'm not taking anything away from the Knicks, but I thought that was a game that was there to be had. You look back, I was looking at the play-by-play this morning, and they went, I think it was a Kelly Oubre three-pointer, if I'm not mistaken, that put them up 99-96 with 6 and change to go in the game. And the Sixers only scored 3 more points the rest of the way. It took them with a little over a minute to go just to get a point,
Mm.
and then it was like a minute to go. A maxi layup was their first field goal in almost 5 minutes of play, and it was
Wow.
it was a shame. I mean, you kind of looking back, it was like a Maxi missed three, a Paul George missed three, a Kelly Oubre missed three. There were a lot of instances, a lot of possessions there where one more bucket, um, where they could have gone up 6 or something like that, or gone up 5, and it was a shame to see them play as well as they did last night without Embiid. Certainly better defensively to just kind of have it fall apart like that down the stretch.
Yeah, it was crap. I mean, they played a really decent first and second quarters. They had the lead in both of those going into halftime. They had the lead, and third quarter was fairly decent for them too. But then they came out in that fourth quarter. But I think they scored maybe 12 points in that fourth
Yeah.
quarter. It was like 19-12. It wasn't a very high scoring fourth quarter by any stretch of the imagination. But they got to get some more points from their bench. Obviously, that first game with the 1 day in between that series, going from the Boston series where I'm sure they were just dead tired, man, dragging and just 1 day off to take on the Knicks. I mean, it showed in that game number one, but we'll see what happens when they take it back to Philadelphia, man. Hopefully they can get some wins there and puts together some good basketball. If they start playing consistently like they played last night, I think they're going to do all right, man, but they just can't keep doing that. They did that early in the season where they would blow the leads and, give it up. And, the Knicks played them tough all year long, but the Sixers did have their number in some of those games. So maybe they can go back to some of that film that they looked at early in the series when they played them during the regular season and see if there's something in that tape that they can do here in the postseason. But we'll see. There's still a lot of basketball to be played. And, if they came back against the Celtics, JT, I got a feeling they can do it against those New York Knicks. We'll see.
Yeah, they could, but I don't think you want to live like that. I don't think
No,
you
no,
want
not
to
at all.
keep
No.
keep climbing from behind. I do think they have a good chance to win tomorrow night for game 3.
Yeah.
Now we'll have to wait and see what they say about Embiid, if he's going to come back and play in games 3 and 4. I really feel like they missed him down the stretch last night.
Yeah.
I just think they needed another guy that was able to maybe slow the game down a little bit, and maybe take a little bit of the pressure off of Maxi, because Paul George wasn't hitting. And then, if Maxi's not hitting, there wasn't another guy that you could really give it to that could, create some mismatches, especially down low. I think that could have changed the dynamic down the stretch, but
Yeah,
you're
and
right. You
Edgecombe's
do
showing
you do bring
some
a
signs of promise too, though. I mean, Edgecombe has been
right.
pretty decent here, and a couple of those games against the Celtics there, so they need him to kind of. Yeah, I think if Edgecombe's scoring 20 plus points in a playoff game, and you got Maxey scoring 20 plus points in a game, sure they miss Embiid. I mean, there's a lot of talk out there if the Sixers are better without Embiid in the actual lineup. I don't think they are. I mean, it shows every time that Embiid's in that lineup, and they're all ticking on all cylinders there with George and Maxey and Edgecombe. Yeah, even with Oubre in there. I mean, I think they do a lot better, obviously, with Embiid in there. But just get the points production from all the major players in that lineup up and down, and you'd think they'd be all right.
Yeah, I think they just could have used a little more size
Yeah.
down the stretch last night. The Knicks got a couple of key offensive rebounds in that game. The Sixers went smaller and quicker with Dominic Barlow getting some minutes. They really
Oh
didn't
yeah.
use Andre Drummond in the fourth quarter, and
Right.
and I think in a tight game like that, Nick Nurse is afraid to use a Dembona who can block some shots, and he's a high energy guy, but he's really not a threat offensively. And I think he was, and plus he tends to, like, as high energy as he is, he tends to get into foul trouble too pretty
Yeah.
quickly. So they couldn't really use him. But you're right, they are missing something off the bench that I think would be key for them. They got Quentin Grimes, but I feel like in some of these big games, he doesn't really,
He's
you
inconsistent.
know, yeah, he doesn't really give them, what you're hoping for. I think he had like 5 points last night.
Yeah.
Um, there was some a discussion there on the floor between him and Paul George when Paul George threw up that off balance air ball. I think he was complaining. Paul George was complaining that Quentin Grimes didn't give him enough. I don't know. There was something. There was a discussion
Mm.
about proper spacing on the floor. I don't know. That's a little bit above me, but again, we'll see what happens tomorrow night. Um,
Need more bench
Obviously,
play. I mean, that's half the
yeah,
battle,
they
man.
got to win. They
Getting
got to
that
win
bench
tomorrow
play.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they, they got to win tomorrow night. But it's been fun to watch them come back against the Celtics because again, the Celtics always get the better of them whenever they meet in the playoffs. But it'd be nice to see them get one up on the Knicks here because I also like to hate watch the Knicks. So
Yeah.
I would love to see them win a game at Garden and see like the disappointed looks on like Spike Lee's face or
Yeah.
Timothy
Absolutely.
Chalamet, all the other
Right.
Kylie Jenner, all the other
Bandwagoners
celebrities that yeah all the
that never
you know
watched
because
basketball.
it's kind of like it's Ben Stiller's always there. They're kind of like they've sort of adopted, you remember back in the 80s and 90s, like the Lakers was
Oh
was the
yeah.
place where all the celebrities
Yeah.
would show up. And now the Knicks have kind of taken up that moniker where, now they show all the celebrities sitting courtside at the Knicks games. So, you don't get that much at the Sixers games. I think you get like Allen Iverson
Or the Phillies.
and,
They get the Phillies
or,
guys
or the
when they
Philly
have an off
players.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
I
you see the
guess
stat though from that series from the Celtics, going back to like the Sixers and the Syracuse Nationals days? Did you see the stat that they put out after that series?
as far as like game sevens or what was it?
Yeah, like as a franchise, Sixers franchise, which includes the time when they were the Syracuse Nationals, they improved to 2-10 in road game sevens in the playoffs. 2-10
Wow.
is what the
2
Sixers
weeks. So
were,
that
and
was their second one.
the only
So
other
I know
win
when
came in '82, and it
19
was at the Boston
82.
Garden. Yeah, at the
Yeah, I
Boston
was
Garden.
I was I was going to bring that up because if I remember reading about the fact. So the Sixers and the Celtics met in the Eastern Conference Final 3 straight years, 1980, 81 and 82.
Right.
In 1981, the Sixers had a 3-games-to-1 lead in that series, and the Celtics came back and won the series. The next year in 82, the Sixers again had a 3-1 lead. The Celtics forced a game 7, and everyone thought it was just going to be a repeat of what happened in
Right.
81. And the Sixers had a great game from Andrew Toney and ended up winning that game 7 in Boston.
Well, back when basketball was basketball, those were the days,
There you
man.
go.
Back
in
when
the day.
basketball was basketball, not anymore, because you can tell in the playoffs, man, the amount of times that people are traveling, double dribbles, and just carrying with that basketball. I mean, you could take 12 different steps now and not get called for traveling with the basketball. It's insane. But those, even the rivalries back then were, I mean, we talked about that in one of the other podcasts, man. The rivalries in the NBA were just, I mean, everybody was out for blood in some of those games back in the
Right.
80s, even the early 90s up until like the late 90s there, when things kind of shifted gears and went a completely different direction. But man, the rivalries were just unmatched in the NBA because I mean the Joe Dumars days, the Detroit Pistons, and
Right.
when he took on the Sixers, man, the Sixers Pistons rivalry back in the day was something else, man. When Barkley was there and Mo Cheeks and all those guys, it was pretty incredible stuff to watch basketball back in
Well
the day.
well, back in the early '80s in the Eastern Conference, like from the late '70s to the early '80s, you had the Sixers, the Celtics, and the Milwaukee Bucks were all
Oh yeah, I
really,
forgot about the
really
Bucks.
good
Yeah,
teams. And
yeah,
those three teams would battle it out every year in the playoffs. The Sixers had some really good playoff series with the Bucks all the way up to about I would say like 87 that it seemed like they would always run into the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs, or
yeah.
eventually you had to go through the Celtics because of how good the Celtics were, in the 80s and in the Bird, McHale, and Parrish era. You're right. It probably was a little more fun back then. I
Yeah.
think the rivalries meant more than they do now. Uh, it's not much of I guess the Sixers and Celtics are still considered a rivalry, but the Celtics have been a lot better than the Sixers. This last series not included. So it hasn't really felt like much of a rivalry. It feels maybe the Sixers and the Knicks maybe might be more of the heated rivalry right now. But again, the Knicks are kind of the favored team in this series. So, um, I right now I like it more when the Sixers beat the Knicks than the Celtics.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see, man. Remember the Knicks won the NBA Cup, so maybe
oh,
they'll
that's right.
maybe they'll repeat as the NBA champs. We hope not, but I don't know. It's like you said, man, with the rivalries back in the day too, man. Like they're just something missing. I don't know if it's just because of the way the game is now these days of even the star players, going to other teams and not staying true to the team that they were on originally, but there's just something missing, man. I don't ever see like that rivalry in the NBA anymore like you used to, which is a shame. Shame, shame,
So
shame.
it's been a while since you and I have gotten to talk hockey, so we've got some
Hockey.
Flyers to talk about tonight. The Flyers, also with their backs up against the wall, they're down 2-0 in their series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Not really a surprise that they're down in this series. Um, I was real hesitant. I thought that series in the first round could go either way with the Penguins going into it.
Right.
Um, I was mildly surprised that the Flyers advanced, not totally shocked. But I knew that if they got past that series, that the Hurricanes would be the team waiting for them. And yeah, I'm not getting the warm and fuzzies with this series, especially the fact that the Flyers are banged up and the fact that they really had a big opportunity to steal game 2 on Monday night,
Yeah.
and they weren't able to get it done. They jumped out to the early 2-0 lead and Carolina is just they're physical, they're relentless. They forecheck the crap out of you. They have a really good power play. They're just a really aggressive team. They kind of play like Rod Brindamore was when he
Oh yeah.
played for the Flyers and the Blues and the Hurricanes. He was a relentless, aggressive forechecker and just uh, a great two-way player. And that seems like they have a whole roster of great two-way players, and it's tough to generate offense against the Hurricanes. But that being said, I really thought I think what made that loss on Monday so hard to swallow was I thought in the overtime, I don't know how much of it you got a chance to watch, but I
A
thought in
lot
the
of
overtime the
a lot of
Flyers were
chances.
were the better team.
Oh
They
yeah.
had they dictated the play. They had more scoring chances, and man, I went to bed that night, picturing that replaying that Travis Konechny breakaway over and over again. I'm like, if you keep thinking you like
If only.
you replay it over in your head thinking there's some way that puck goes in
Right.
and they get that win and it's a completely different series. But I think it's going to be really tough to come back from 2-0. It's not unprecedented to come back from 2-0 in a playoff series in hockey, but against a team like the Hurricanes, I feel like that this Hurricanes team is poised probably more than any other Hurricanes team to get back to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. And
And
I mean
that's
that
not
go ahead.
and that's not taking anything away from Buffalo or Montreal, but I feel like if Carolina, if there was any year that Carolina was going to get to the Cup final, it would be this year.
Yeah, and Carolina's been a staple in atop of that Eastern
Right.
Conference, the Metro Division all year long. I mean, even after that game, Konechny even said, it would be a completely different series right now if he would have connected on that goal in game number 2. But there's only so many times that Dan Vladar can save the Flyers, per se. Because in that Penguin series, I mean, you saw it multiple times when Vladar would save the game for the Flyers. He's done
Right.
it all season long. So there's only so many times that's going to catch up with him, and he's gonna bail him out during a series. But Carolina from top to bottom on that lineup. I mean, I even referenced when we went out to lunch the other day. I completely forgot that he even had Hall in their lineup, and then when he scored that
Yeah.
goal, I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot they even got him on the team. So I mean, from top to bottom, Carolina is probably the team that you're thinking has a good chance from the Eastern Conference to go to the Stanley Cup final for sure.
And what's interesting, the Flyers have actually done a decent job on Carolina's top line. Like their
Yeah.
top line is the one with like Svechnikov and Seth Jarvis. Now he scored the other night, but he had been kind of quiet. It was that like Taylor Hall, Stankoven line. That's the one that's really given them problems. Stankoven has been all over the place, and of course, Taylor Hall had the game winning goal in overtime. Um, and their defense core is just, their defense core is much deeper and more experienced than the Flyers. Um, yeah, Dan Vladar has been, I think he's been the MVP of the season, the whole
Yeah,
season for the Flyers.
absolutely.
If they were getting average goaltending, I'm not even 100% sure the Flyers even make the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, I'd agree with you. Yeah, I'd agree with you there. And Couturier is starting to play better here in the postseason too. So, I mean, who do you
Yeah.
think? Who do you think needs a step up? I mean, obviously Denver Barkey. I mean, would be a good guy to step up tonight and get a win here in game number 3. But who else you think on that roster for the Flyers needs to kind of step up their game here after the first 2 games?
Well, I think it's interesting. Two names that come to mind for me are Porter Martone and Tyson
Yeah, yeah,
Forster because those two guys came onto the team really late in the season. Forster coming back from his injury and Martone signing his entry level contract. I thought those two guys came in and they were they gave the Flyers a jolt of energy, and I
yeah,
think were really key for the Flyers late in the regular season that allowed them to make that run to get into the playoffs. But I feel like as the postseason has worn on, that like those two guys, especially Forrester, they moved him down into the fourth line there for a little bit. Now he's been moved up because now they're dealing with some injuries. Owen Tippett uh, has been out. They announced the other day that Noah Cates is gonna miss the rest of the
I
series
saw
now
that. Yeah, I did see
after
that.
he took
Yeah.
a shot off of his foot. Christian Dvorak didn't practice yesterday, so I don't
They said
know
he's gonna play.
exact.
I read a
He
thing
is going to
today. He's
play.
he's gonna play through it. I
Okay,
guess they said, "Yep, he's gonna play through it."
so as you can see, like they're kind of now the injuries are starting to mount a little bit. So that's not a great sign because the the Flyers, their depth isn't great. So the further they have to kind of dig into things there. You talk about another guy that there's been a lot of talk of the struggles of Matvey Michkov in this postseason.
Sure.
They sat him a game in the playoffs already. I think the game seems to be moving a little too fast for him.
Yeah,
Um,
especially in the
he's getting
playoffs.
pushed. He's getting pushed right off the puck, like he's not able to keep possession. It's going to be really key to see what kind of offseason he has, and I think next year is going to be a real key for him in his development. But I feel like the playoffs have kind of really um, been a bit much for him. It seems like he's been overmatched a lot in this postseason. So, and again, playing a team like Carolina, that's not the kind of team to play to kind of find yourself offensively. So we'll see. I do still think the Flyers can win tonight, and at least make it a little bit of a series. Can they win two? I don't know. I haven't seen many holes in this Carolina team. I'm encouraged by the fact that the Flyers played so well in the overtime. Maybe hopefully they could carry that into tonight. And maybe they figured something out in that overtime game against Carolina, but They certainly need a win tonight. That's for sure.
It's going to be tough to get any pucks past Anderson in net, man. The guy's 6-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
His
he's
goals
tough.
against average is, I think, like 1 point something in the postseason. But the Flyers too. I mean, you saw it kind of in that Pittsburgh series too, where the Flyers got to have that mentality of shoot first, man. They're always wanting to pass that puck. But
Yeah.
anytime you have an opportunity, you got to get that puck on the net, especially with a goaltender like Anderson, who's been absolutely outstanding in the playoffs. And they need to have that mentality here in Game 3. And whenever they have that puck, in the offensive zone, man, they need to get that on net and maybe hope for a rebound and somebody's in front to knock it home or something. But they need that mentality first of the nonsense of passing it all the time. Capitals do that all the time, and it drives me nuts. Hershey Bears do that sometimes too, where they're always passing,
Right.
they don't shoot on net, and Flyers need that same mentality tonight in game number 3.
Well, and the other thing too is, and I was texting with my bros the other day, and I said that if the Flyers power play is going to be this irrelevant in games,
Yeah,
they're not going to win the series.
that's a
I
good
mean, they
point.
had plenty. I mean, that game was called pretty tightly on Monday night, so both teams had a lot of power play opportunities. But it looked like the Flyers are kind of just hanging on the penalty kill, and when they were on the power play, it looked like they
Looked
generated
awful.
next to nothing as far
Yeah.
as scoring chances. And that's just, I mean, that's not sustainable if you have any, visions of upsetting the Hurricanes. They've got to find a way to get something going on the power play.
Yeah. Yeah, the Flyers need to figure something out tonight, and, I'm not sure they're going to. I mean, it's gonna be a tough series for them. I mean, obviously, after they beat the Penguins and, they got through that series, but, taking on Carolina is just a whole nother level here in the NHL, and the way they played all season. They're a consistent hockey team, they're a fast team, they're a strong team, and they're gonna take it right to you as soon as that puck drops, so we'll see what happens in game 3 tonight.
8 o'clock is the face-off. I'm going to be flyered up. It'll be
Get your paint ready?
yeah, it's time to ignite the orange tonight, and
Alright.
hopefully they can get a win in Game 3. But speaking of another hockey team that needs to win, the Hershey Bears, as we record this here on a Thursday, they're in action tonight in Game 4 against the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, the Baby Pens. All right, Giant Center again tonight, Game 4 of the Atlantic Division semifinal. Really a tough loss,
Oh, yeah.
Chase, on Tuesday night, losing 4-3 in overtime. They fall behind early. They got off to a really slow start, but they really picked it up from about the midway point of that first period through into the second period. I thought they really played well
Mhm.
and had themselves in a great position to win that game. They give up the goal with a couple minutes to go in regulation and then lose the game in overtime. So that's a tough one to swallow, and hopefully they can put that one behind them because they got to come up with a win tonight or it's over.
I think it's the interview that we had with Zach Fish. When we first started off, and I even asked him. I said, "Do you think the Bears are playing their best hockey right now?" I think they are. I think going into this postseason,
Sure.
I think the Bears all season long have been kind of that inconsistent team. But now, since the playoffs have started, they've been a completely different hockey team. I mean, they're playing well. They're battling back. They got that. I mean, they've had it. They had it towards like the end of the season where that mentality when they get down that they can always come back. But it's not like it is right now in the playoffs. I mean, coming from that 2-0 deficit, they tied it at 2. Took the lead with the Leeson goal, I believe it was in that game, 3-2.
Yeah.
But just the way
Yeah.
that one ended, that is especially on home ice, that is just a tough way to lose a playoff hockey game. But they need more contributions from everybody else, and that's not named Ilya Protas, Andrew Crystal, Trinyaev, all those guys and the Rabinskis of the world.
Yershnichenko. Yeah.
Yeah, you need some more contributions from those guys that aren't with those names, and that's who they've been getting the production from here in the postseason up to this point. So hopefully the next game they can battle back and take that early lead and hold a lead. That's been their problem too. They can't really hold a lead all season long for the Hershey Bears, and hopefully that doesn't catch up with them here in this series against the Penguins.
Well, and I think again, I think Wilkes-Barre Scranton is they're real deep, they're real experienced, and they're the type of team that they'll like if you make a bad mistake, they're gonna pounce on it.
Yeah.
And maybe against some other teams, maybe against a Bridgeport, or if you're playing somebody else,
you commit a bad turnover in your own zone, you might be able to get away with it, but you're not going to be able to get away with it at Wilkes-Barre Scranton. And they had a couple of bad turnovers, especially on that first goal on Tuesday night, and they're right there to pounce on it. And it's a shame because I really think like that game again, that game was there for the taking, similar to our discussion about the Flyers and
Yeah.
Hurricanes in game 2. That game was there for the taking, and I think um they can certainly win, but again, it's a tall task to have to win tonight and then turn around and go back up to Wilkes-Barre Scranton for a game 5 on Saturday.
Yeah, and similar situation in the Flyers series, man. The
Right.
Mershov is no slouch in goal for the Penguins either. From Scranton, I think Zach
Right.
Fish referenced it and said like he's probably the best goaltender that's currently in the AHL right now. That should be up with an NHL club somewhere, but obviously with the Penguins now out of the playoff series. I mean, he certainly should be playing somewhere in the NHL, and trying to get a puck past him here in this playoff series is going to be tough. But just more production, I think that's what they need, man. More production from other guys that aren't the Protuses of the world, the Andrew Crystal, and even guys like Aaron Ness. I mean, you haven't seen Aaron Ness in that scoring or point category in a game in quite a long time. So getting those guys to contribute and get them to contribute here in the postseason, that's definitely what they're going to need. And what's that? Did you see that
7 o'clock.
incident too? Did you see the incident on the overtime goal too?
Uh, well, I heard that there was I was listening to the broadcast. There was some question about whether the puck actually went in. Um,
It
and
just made the New York Times yesterday. I just
oh,
read
did
it.
it really?
Yeah, the New York Times put out an article. I guess the fans were throwing stuff on the ice. They wouldn't
Well,
leave.
yeah. Well, I think the issue was it at first it looked questionable about whether the puck actually
Went
went
in.
in.
Yeah,
And so and the fans were I think the fans were screaming for the officials to at least look at it. I mean, they do
replay.
have an overhead view that, in an overtime game, especially with so much at stake, that why not take a look at it just to make sure. Um, and they just they went off the ice, and the fans were upset because I think a lot of the fans were convinced that the puck did not cross the line. Now, Zach Fish on the broadcast said he was sent a video while they were, after the game, and he said the puck definitely went
Yeah,
in.
it definitely went in.
There is
Yeah,
video out there that you can find that shows that the puck clearly went in, but the fans at Giant Center, they don't see that, and I think they were just frustrated that why wouldn't the officials just take a look at it? So I guess they got upset and threw some stuff on the ice. They were none too pleased.
yeah. Well, the Hershey Bears always put up that post game video, and I took a look at that yesterday because I didn't see any of the highlights. I mean, obviously I listened to it, but then I looked at I mean, you could. It was clear as day. I mean, it went right past Stevenson, right over I think his left shoulder, nailed off the back of the net, and just bounced right back out. And I mean, it was a bang bang play, but for them, and clearly there was an open guy right in front of the net too. that got the tip.
Well,
So I mean,
let
go
me
ahead.
tell you, I watched the highlight package on YouTube,
Yeah,
and I read some of the comments below, and there were some people that you're not going to convince that puck went over the line, but it did.
yeah.
I hate
Look,
to be the wet blanket here, but the puck definitely went in.
yeah.
And look again, an unfortunate loss because the Bears had the lead with just a couple of minutes to go, and the Pens tie it up with the goal. I think the goaltender was pulled, if I'm not mistaken.
I
I
think
think
so.
they
Yeah.
had the extra attacker on. And scored right off the face-off. So again, a tough pill to swallow. Hopefully, the Bears can put it behind them and get a win tonight because they have to, or it's over. But 7 o'clock puck drop. You can listen to it on Froggy Valley 100.1, or you can stream it on the My Froggy Valley app, and we'll see if the Bears can force a game 5 on Saturday.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess they may stick with Stevenson. I guess the rest of the way here. I guess, huh?
I'm sure.
Not
Yeah,
throwing Mitch Gibson in net there at all.
I don't. I don't.
No.
It wouldn't. I don't think he's the reason that why
Yeah.
they're down in the series. So,
Right.
I think Stevenson's has been the number one, and I think once you get to this point in the season, unless it's absolutely obvious that the reason they're losing is because
Right.
you know that Stevenson would be letting in some soft goals. You might make a switch to create a spark, but I don't. He's not the reason they're down. So I'm pretty sure they're going to stick with Clay Stevenson.
Right. Yeah.
So
I
we'll
agree.
see what happens.
I agree, JT. You should be an assistant coach for the Bears. The
You
Bears.
think so? What does that pay? What does that pay?
A lot more than what you're getting now. I can tell you that.
You think so? Okay. Well,
might even throw in a couple smash burgers on that too on your pay. You never know.
Speaking of smash burgers, okay.
I should have mentioned it.
This is one I've been germinating in my head here. So we're going to talk Phillies now.
Okay.
And clearly they all they had to do was throw Rob Thompson under the bus and hire Don Mattingly.
That's all we needed.
The Mattingly Magic has given the Phillies 8 wins out of their last 9 games.
Well, now it's 9 out of 10, ain't it? Ain't it 9 out of 10 after their win last night?
Is it 9 out of 10 or was it 8? I thought it was 8 out of 9.
I think it's 9 out of 10. I think it's 9 out of 10. Because I think the night before it was 8 out of 9. I think it's 9 out of 10. I could be wrong.
So they could they're going for the sweep tonight against the Oakland A's, and
they're not Oakland though.
Let me see.
They're not Oakland. See, you did it. You did what I would do. You said
What's
the Oakland A's. They're not Oakland anymore. They don't even have a city name anymore. Did you realize that with the A's?
They're not the Oakland A's?
No. Look in MLB. They don't even have a city name anymore. Even in their merchandise, they don't even put the like. You would think it's clearly going to be the Las Vegas Athletics, right?
Right. Oh, I thought they were just. I thought they were waiting until. Okay.
They don't have a city. They don't have a city, man. Look at the standings. It's just Athletics. Everybody else has like a city name. It's crazy.
Oh, jeez.
So I was wondering that last night because every time Tom McCarthy would go to break or something and the A's were winning, he would just say the Athletic. He did say one break. He said something about. I thought he said Sacramento. Are they in Sacramento for some reason right now and just maybe playing?
I guess
games there?
I think that was their temporary home.
Yeah. But I would have thought that, obviously they got the Vegas.
You're right.
They got the Vegas casinos on the sleeve during the game. So I thought that they'd be under the Las Vegas A's, but that ain't it.
I totally missed this. I'm looking at the AL West standings right now, and it
just says Athletics.
From it goes Athletics, then Seattle Mariners, Texas Rangers, Los Angeles Angels, Houston Astros.
They don't have a home. They need a home.
They're vagabonds. They're
it's the first time I've ever seen it in like a sports like standings or any. And I last night because I was just curious, so I went to their shop during the game, the A's, just to see if like there was anything that said Las Vegas A's or you look at the hats they have. It's all just A's and Athletics, and then anything that has the word Oakland in it is pretty much on 50% off on the website, but there is nothing on their website that even references a city. Obviously Oakland's in there, a couple of them, but I said they have those on sale right now on their shop, but they don't have a city. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So where's their home? Where are they playing their games at?
Let me look that up. I think it's in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I think because that's where they played last year, and I think that was their. I'm gonna look it up. Well, Oakland Athletics on Wikipedia. Their current home is
Johnny T's house. Play in your backyard.
Okay, all right. So they are playing they relocate according to this, they relocated to West Sacramento last year, and they will relocate to Las Vegas in 2028. So they will still play. Yeah, so they're playing in Sacramento.
So would they be the Sacramento A's right now? That as an interim name?
No, because it's temporary. I think they're just going to call them the A's. By the way, this would be
it's confusing.
This is the the 4th city that they've played in. So this franchise has played in. They were of course, everyone remembers, not everyone, but they were the Philadelphia Athletics from 1901 to 1954.
Yep.
They were the Kansas City Athletics from 1955 to 1967. Then they were the Oakland Athletics from 1968 to 2024. And now they're just, I guess, considered the Athletics until they move to Las Vegas in 2028.
R.I.P. Man, R.I.P. Just the A's now. It's crazy.
Okay,
I noticed that last night. It's crazy.
so the Smashburger bet is you can choose one.
Okay.
It's either will the
I get to
Phillies
choose the
finish
bet, or
with
I get to choose the smash burger.
you get to choose the bet. You get
Oh,
to
okay.
choose the
All
side.
right.
All right, your choice is will the Phillies finish with a winning record or will the Phillies make the postseason?
But not both. They can't do both.
Not well, they could. If they're making the
But
postseason,
I
they'll
got to pick
probably
one.
have a winning record.
Exactly. What kind of bet is that? I hope you weren't up all night with this one.
Well, what do you think? Do you think they will or they won't?
That they'll have a winning record or make the postseason.
You pick
Those,
which bet.
yeah,
You
which
pick the Smashburger bet of the either bet
winning record or
A
postseason.
or they'll finish with a winning record or B winning record and go to the postseason.
I'm gonna go with the winning record.
Okay. And do you think they will have a winning record?
Yes, I do. I do think
Damn it.
by the end of the season that they will have. See, you know, you don't want me to take that bet, did you? That's not the one you
Well,
were looking
I'll
for.
just I thought I thought that you were going to say that they wouldn't because you're so negative.
No, oh God, no. No, I think they'll have a winning record.
Okay.
Now that Rob Thompson's gone, it's all easy peasy now, man. You know, they're
All
gonna,
right, so I guess I got to take the other side then just to make it fair. So I will say that they will not finish with a winning record. So
okay. All right,
that's the Smashburger bet.
deal. You're on
But
like
I
Donkey
hope
Kong.
but I hope I lose that bet, to be honest, because I want the Phillies to do well and I want them to
You know,
make the postseason.
yeah, easily. If they don't have a winning record, I mean, come on, they're gonna have a winning record. They gotta.
They have to.
There
It just
is
has to
no
happen.
choice.
It's got to be that way.
Yeah, there's no choice in the matter, man.
Well,
They need to
I
have
think
a winning record.
I think the biggest difference has been in this stretch has been the starting pitching.
Yeah.
Like the Phillies calling card even last year was their starting pitching covered up a lot of the holes of like not scoring runs consistently. And in the early part of the season, when they started off 9-19, their starting pitching was terrible. Like
Yeah.
Jesus Luzardo was awful. Sanchez wasn't that good. Nola was kind of what Nola is. You know, they had a couple of Taiwan Walker starts in there. And Andrew Painter has struggled with his command. It's like, but ever since that, it feels like ever since Zach Wheeler came back, everything has sort of fallen into place with the starting rotation. Are they a better hitting team now? I guess they are because they're winning games and they're getting down early and they're rallying back. But I feel like the starting pitching is what really sets the tone for this team. And without that, they aren't a consistent enough hitting team to be able to overcome that. They need to get the kind of starting pitching that they got last year, in order to kind of get this engine humming.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I mean, the starting pitching wasn't too great. I mean,
Oh, I thought I made you speechless.
no, absolutely not. There's only a couple times you do that, JT. That wasn't one of them. That wasn't one of those.
Oh, well, the screen froze there for a minute, so I got a little.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what was going on. I got a little scared there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the starting pitching now is starting to hum, like you said. Once Wheeler got in that, it's a shame that I, purchased my Taiwan Walker jersey and then he got traded the
Did
very
you?
next day.
I
Yeah,
bet you did. I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm still waiting for it in the mail, but I guess I got to send that back if I can get a return. But we'll see. I mean, the offense looks better than what it did. I mean, you had people that were struggling, like JT Realmuto, who's starting to hit the ball now. You have Bryson Stott that's starting to hit a little bit better. Alec Boehm still having his issues though at the plate. Brandon Marsh, man, is
sure.
just
Really
Marsh is just absolutely on
He's
fire
raking
right
it.
now, man.
He's He's been fantastic.
He's batting what, like 338 right now. He's batting pretty well. Adolis Garcia seems to be now getting off the schneid a little bit offensive wise. Kyle Schwarber, he's still struggling a little bit. Harper's batting a little bit better. You just got to get some of those guys that are in that bottom of the lineup to start hitting the ball a little bit better. Even the bench guys now too. I mean, they're starting to do a little bit better. But the small ball, the Phillies are playing small ball, JT. since
Can
getting rid
can
of
you
Rob
believe
Thompson.
that?
No, I can't. I am shocked. I can't believe it. I mean, last night was a prime example of them actually not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark and to downtown Philadelphia every single time they get up at the plate, and they're actually playing small ball. They're playing the fundamentals that everybody gets taught in Little League, and doing that now as the season progresses. And maybe it was just a change of face that they actually needed there, but the bullpen is starting to look half decent now that Duran is back too. I mean, he struggled that first start back, but hey, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He did come into a game where it was 9-1 or something, to give him a practice run when he came back. But it seems that they are playing better baseball. They're doing the fundamental things that they need to do that they weren't doing in the beginning of the year, and they're playing that small ball, and the starting pitching looks good, which is a plus. You saw that with Sanchez, you saw it with Wheeler here. They got to get Nola going too. I mean, he's going to have his inconsistencies. He had a good game his last start, but is that going to continue for Aaron Nola the rest of the season? You don't know. We'll see. Painter's been struggling the past couple of starts too, but we'll see, man. They're doing things right, and they're finally a fun team to watch here this season, which is good.
Yeah, Nola's it's for him. It's all about his command and
Yeah.
hitting the corners. If he's not hitting the corners and he's leaving the ball over the plate, his fastball doesn't have enough juice at this point to be able to to last long in the games. And he had really great command the other night, and that allowed him to to give him 6 really good innings.
Yeah.
And that would be great if we would see that on a consistent basis. One thing I'm a little nervous about is they just activated Duran, and the sooner they get him back into that closer's role, the better. Because
Yeah.
I know Brad Keller hasn't blown a save yet, but he is not a lockdown closer.
Mm.
He just last night was just 6-3, bases loaded, the go ahead run at the plate. I mean, come
Made
on,
made
like.
made it interesting. Nervous.
He
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just to me, that's not sustainable. Um, he's been a little bit of a disappointment overall. I think he's more ticketed for that setup role. Um, but yeah, that got a little hairy there in the ninth inning last night. We'll see if they can keep it going. I know some people will say, well, it's a softer spot in the schedule. And and I guess it is. They're not playing the Braves and they're not playing the Cubs, but still the Marlins were playing pretty decent ball going into that 4-game series, and the Phillies took 3 out of 4. And you could say what you want about the A's record, but they are in first place. And really, with the Phillies record, could you really say that anybody is a
No,
weak team?
that
I
NL
mean, when
East
you look,
teams, all those teams in the
right,
NL East stink right now, except for Atlanta. There's
except for
nobody that's
Atlanta,
good.
right?
Yeah, except for Atlanta.
But I think, right now, I think the Phillies, their focus has to be to get to 500 first and then go from there. Because it was a huge hole that they're climbing out of, 10 games below 500. But now what? They're 17-20. So, getting to that 500 mark doesn't look like as much of a daunting task as it once did.
Yeah, I think as we get forward here in the season still, and you get past some of the easier teams per se that they're playing now, the thing that scares me the most still is runners in scoring position. I mean, they are still struggling with runners in scoring position. Last night they were
Sure.
4 for 11, or no, last night they were 4 for 13, and the night before they were 4 for 11. I mean, that's one number that I look at every single night after their games of the runners in scoring position. I mean, obviously, when you're putting up 6, 7, 8, 9 runs, I mean that you're not going to complain about that. But the runners in scoring position has not been good all season long for the Phillies by any stretch of the imagination. The one night they were over 5 with runners in scoring position too. But I think that's an area that they really, once you get that runner at second and third and in scoring position, man, you got to get that run home because every run counts right now for the Philadelphia Phillies.
So would you rather be right now, would you rather be the Philadelphia Phillies at 17-20 in second place in your division, or the Pittsburgh Pirates at 20-17 and fourth place in their division?
That's a good question. That's a good
Because that's where the
question.
Pirates
That's
are
good.
right now. I
No,
can't believe
it's crazy. That's because the division is lights. That's the best division in baseball right now. It really is.
everybody in that division is above 500 right
Yeah.
now. The NL Central. The Reds and the Pirates are 20-17.
and they're bringing up the rear in the division. They're the caboose. You got the Brewers at 19 and 16, the Cardinals at 21 and 15, and then the Cubbies, who have won 8 in a row, are 25 and 12. Actually, now right on the heels of the Braves for the best record in the National League, and they've got a better record than the Dodgers. You know, and I think everybody considers the Dodgers as one of the favorites to win the World Series again this year.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about the Pirates, man, they have just been raking it offensively all season long, and you saw it the other night when they scored. What was that, 17-7? It was like a football score the other night.
Right.
It was crazy, but
Yeah. So what set the Pirates back there a little bit was they
the 5-game
got
losing
swept
streak.
by the Cardinals, and then
Yeah.
they turned around and they got the sweep of the Reds to get them back on track. Now they're out west right now. They took it on the chin the other night, but last night, I mean, Skeens was
Lights
brilliant.
out.
Eight shutout innings. They win 1-0. I think it was Brandon Lau got him the first inning home run. But the thing I wanted to bring up to you is, did you see who pitched the ninth inning last night for the Pirates and got the
I was
save?
going there too, man. All Phillies fans are like, "What in the world? Where was this guy when we had
What
him?"
is that? What is that
Gregory
crap?
Soto. Do you see his ERA?
It's 1.5. What?
Yep.
What's that about?
He's been lights out. I mean, they've had
That's ridiculous.
their bullpen has been pretty incredible. I mean, from top to bottom. I mean, there's been some holes this season. Whether it be the starting pitching, outside of Skeens, but the starting pitching for Pittsburgh sometimes hasn't been all there all season long, but their offense has just been absolutely raking it. Their bullpen has been very impressive in some of these games. You got O'Neal Cruz there. Reynolds is starting to light it up a little bit. Lowe is playing good baseball too. Griffin has been playing really good baseball since he's been called up. I mean, they really look like a team that just has no fear right now. And why shouldn't they? I mean, they've been playing some really good baseball here of late, and but that's funny that you bring up Soto, because I was
couldn't
thinking
believe
the
that
same
when I
exact
saw
thing.
that. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me right now.
He's
Gregory
reinventing
Soto
his
with a
career,
1
JT. Reinventing it right now.
He's got it. He's had a career renaissance out in the Steel City. I do think, like, even though the Pirates are in fourth place or tied for last, however you want to look at it, I still think they're playing good enough ball. Like, that division is good, but it's still early. Like, I still feel like the whole National League or the whole, Major League hasn't really quite settled in yet
Right.
to where things, you know what I mean? I don't know if
I agree.
if that entire division will stay at, above 500 for the rest of the season. Now, what balances that out, of course, is how bad the NL East is right now, outside of Atlanta. So again, we'll see, but I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going to say that the Pirates are going to be right there for a wild card spot come the fall. So we'll see what happens in the dog days of summers. The O's, they really took it on the chin over the weekend. They got swept by the Yankees. Now they're starting to crawl out of it a little bit. They got the wins the last 2 nights over the Orioles. Their issue, I think, is going to be, I think it's going to continue to be, can they outscore their starting pitching? Can they cover up their inconsistencies of their starting pitching? I think that's going to be the key. They brought some lumber to Miami with them. Samuel Basallo has been on fire. Adley Rutschman's gotten some key hits. He had a key hit the other night in the top of the 9th inning. He had another big hit last night. The 7-4 win over the Marlins. Pete Alonso's been stepping it up lately.
Yeah,
he had a big 3-run homer last night in the top of the first inning, but I think it's going to be, can they find a way to get their starting pitching stabilized? The bullpen's actually been okay. Rico Garcia's been terrific, but again, if they're going to have their struggles and inconsistency with their starting pitching, I just don't know how far it can take them. They're already really behind the 8 ball in that division. The Yankees and the Rays are like head and shoulders above everybody else in that division. And again, kind of like the Phillies, with that, the Phillies are playing better, that losing record. But right now, if you would look at the wild card standings, there's a lot of teams that they would have to leap over to even begin to think about, being a wild card team.
Well, you saw it in that Yankee series. I mean, they're just not ready to compete with the big boys as of yet. The Orioles are struggling pitching wise too. They got 7 guys that are on the injured list currently
Right.
right now that are down. I mean, Brandon Young, that was his best start last night. Going the 6 innings here in 2026. That's the first time he completed 6 innings in a starting
Right.
role last evening. So I mean, they gotta figure out that pitching depth and maybe bring some guys up from whether it be Double A or Triple A, because right now with all the guys that they have on that injured list pitching wise, the offense is just not doing it right now for the Baltimore Orioles, and they are a young team to a certain extent, but they have some guys that are veterans that are on that team, like you said Pete Alonso and a couple of the other guys that are there on the Baltimore team, but those guys got to step it up. They were doing pretty good to start the season, but now they're starting to dwindle a little bit away from what they were doing at the beginning of the year, and the pitching is the key for Baltimore right now.
Yeah, like their last 10 or 11 games, they've averaged somewhere in that like 5, like basically a little over 5 runs per game. That's pretty good. Like that's not
Right.
bad if you're averaging like 5 runs a game. But again, um, I just don't know how their pitching is going to be able to hold up. You know, over the as we get into the like this, they say the dog days of summer, but we'll see. So they're 17-20, they're third, but again they're 8 behind the Yankees and 7.5 behind the Rays. So they definitely have their work cut out for them. We didn't get a chance to talk much, you and I, Eagles, the last couple of weeks with the NFL draft in the rearview mirror. Talked a little bit about it going into the draft with Noah, and I was on his Back to the Whiteboard podcast. By the way, if you want to hear a good recap of what how that first round shook out, you can check out Noah White's podcast. It's called Back to the Whiteboard. You can find that over at 7mmsports.com. But you've had a chance to reflect, Chase. Your thoughts on what the Eagles were able to do in the draft. What do you like about what they did, and maybe anything you didn't like?
I mean, the first 2 rounds were obviously pretty stellar for the Eagles being able to trade up and get Lemon. I mean, obviously, we talked about it just between you and me. I mean, obviously, I think AJ Brown's days are done, and Lemon's the kind of guy that you're not bringing that guy in to develop him into being the stud receiver. They want him to step right in and take that receiver's role, maybe be that second wide receiver, probably behind Devontae Smith, I would think, going into that, if they do get rid of A.J. Brown here at some point in time, which I think is an absolute given after they got Lemon in that draft. Picking up that tight end, I mean, I'm not sure about that guy, because, I mean, a lot of talks about him were, he's kind of a big receiver, not necessarily a tight end position guy. Then he picked up the quarterback there, which was kind of, I mean, he's not even going to see the field. That guy, the quarterback, at all this year. I mean, they got 4 quarterbacks now with picking up Andy Dalton. You got McKee, you got Jalen Hurts on the roster there too. So I mean, the first 2 picks were pretty stellar, I believe, for them. But beyond that, I mean, some of those guys aren't even going to probably even make the field. There'll be backups. Even Bell, where's Bell going to go? He's probably going to be a backup, maybe right tackle. Bringing him
Well, I
in,
think
you
I
would
think
think,
that pick was they're trying to think down the road here,
right?
because I don't know, how much longer is Lane Johnson going to play? He's going to play this year. Beyond that, who knows? But it's high time that they start thinking about the next group of guys that are kind of going to come in and take over on that offensive line, because again, they've got one year, maybe 2 max with Lane Johnson at right tackle.
Right.
They've got to find somebody that's going to be ready to step in, and they're hoping, I guess, that this is that guy.
Yeah, let's hope so. But Stowers, I think if they bring that guy in, he can. He wasn't a very good blocker in college either.
No.
Was one of his drawbacks. So he's gonna have to be able to block in the NFL. So maybe they can develop him in camp, and it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with some of these guys in camp and see where they're at after they go through an NFL training camp for the very first time and see how they come out of it. But I mean, for the most part, I thought it was decent. They addressed probably the areas that they needed to address. I mean, what were some of the things that you thought that they maybe should have done in that draft?
Well, I think I would have loved to have seen them go offensive line in the first round,
Right.
but I think their process was they had a top tier of players. This is what I read. They had a top tier of players with a bunch of those tackles in that tier,
but by the time it got down to them, all the guys that they considered tackles worthy enough to take in the first round were already drafted.
Right.
The last guy that they had in their top tier of players was Mekhi Lemon, and they felt like they couldn't pass him up, so they made the trade with the Cowboys and they went up and they got him. So I think if it would have went perfectly for them, they would have been able to get one of those tackles in the first round. But the guys that they wanted, I think, were already taken. But again, from what I've read, they've got one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver, in the draft. So we'll see how it all plays out, because pretty soon we'll have OTAs and training camp, but it'll be here before you know it.
NFL season is always a year long. It's no longer
year-round. It's a
year-long thing. Yeah,
coming up here,
especially with the Rossini and Vrabel deal. That thing just keeps getting better and better each and every single day. I mean, you see the latest yesterday? That they went on a cruise or something, and they had the paperwork that they signed the paper.
No, they rented a private boat.
Yeah,
they rented a private boat, and they were blaring. They were blaring. What's that song? On the Pontoon by
Fantastic Voyage from Coolio.
No, little Big Town on the Pontoon. Isn't that how that goes?
I mean, you don't even need the NFL talk. I mean, that's that story just keeps getting better and better every minute.
It does.
It really
does. Yeah, it's great, great stuff to kick around. That's for sure.
And now Rossini even said now. I mean, I guess she's going to come out and tell all about some of the other reporters and the NFL just in general, and just with all the knowledge that she must have with some of the reporters.
No!
I mean, I can only imagine. I just saw that earlier this morning. I can only imagine some of the stories that will come out if she's going to actually come out and do a tell-all type thing.
She's doing it. If I'm going down, you're all going down with me.
The whole league's going down. Taking you with me.
Well, and don't forget, coming up, sometime this month, doesn't the NFL do its big schedule release, if I'm not mistaken?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's always a big deal in May, so.
Maybe she'll do it on that. Maybe she'll do it on that day. The tell all. She'll hold a press conference right before it comes out.
You think we can get her on the pod?
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Let me ask you this: who do I have a better chance of getting on the pod, Diana Rossini or the cast of Stranger Things?
Oof, Stranger Things.
Okay.
By far,
yeah. One's at 1%, the other's at 0%.
Yeah, I think Rossini's probably changed her phone number, so you'll never get a hold of her. But
I didn't have her phone number to begin with.
Yeah,
so
I don't think she's answering any type of reporter questions or even entertaining any type of ideas from any type of podcasts or anything at the current moment. I can tell you that.
Well, you're good. You find that you're good at finding people's emails. Just send her an email, and she might respond. Would you like to come on Broad Street and Beyond to talk about?
It's just it's a low key podcast. We don't have like 3 million subscribers, so it's gonna be low key. We'll keep it under wraps, just like Vrabel on the boat when he said, when they asked him to take a picture with him, just as long as you don't tell anybody, you'll be all right. So if you come on the podcast, we won't tell anybody.
No, this is what we'll do. We'll tell her we're strictly going to talk football. We'll be like, Diana, who you picking the AFC East, the Patriots?
Yeah, start it off. That'd be awesome. I'm game. I'm looking up her email right now. As soon as we're done with this podcast.
All right. Well, my friend, that's going to do it for this week's edition. Time to wrap it up. It was good to have you back.
Always fun.
And yeah, always fun to chat. Remember, you can catch us over at 7mmsports.com, over on our YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. And again, a big thanks to our sponsor, Fairview Golf Course. Great golf in Central PA for over 60 years. Book your tee time at fairview.distinctgolf.com. Chase, we'll do this again next week. And enjoy your weekend, brother. And hopefully we get some good weather.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the sports, brother. Appreciate it.
Go Flyers. Go Sixers. Talk to you soon, man.